Racist.
People often ask me, did you invent the helicopter? That's a complicated question.
Let's talk about the Black American inventor who holds the patent for the helicopter. The first usable helicopter was patented by Paul E. Williams on November 26, 1962. The first useful helicopter was the Lockheed Model 186. Paul E. Williams was born on February 1, 1894, in Los Angeles. In 1921, he became a licensed architect and became the first Black member of the American Institution of Architects in 1923. He also worked in the Navy Department as an architect during World War II. As an architect, Paul E. Williams designed over 3,000 buildings. In the early 1900s, vertical flying was a pipe dream for white engineers. They were too stupid to fully accomplish vertical flight. Many white invention thieves were thought to have a hand in the actual invention of the helicopter. Yet no one actually invented the rotors necessary for the usage of vertical flight until Paul E. Williams achieved his patent in 1908. The racism behind ignoring his work is mainly why this country fails to give him credit for inventing the helicopter. His patent wasn't even recognized until 1962. Another sly, coward attempt by white men to hide the achievements of Black Americans while simultaneously needing them. Paul Williams joins a list of many Black inventors whose work was stolen by inferior whites. His creation in rotor-based vertical flight was snubbed, and much was credited to Europeans, who couldn't even get their helicopter design off the ground. So we are 4 days into Black History Month, and we have yet to come across an invention or monumental invention by another race in this country. Was there anything that Native Americans invented in this country? Oh yes, that's right. Natives were building kayaks and inventing snow goggles that they can use on their reservations in the Grand Canyon, while Black Americans were committing the indigenous acts of building helicopters and designing homes. All right, racist.
The next time you grab hold of a doorknob, think of Osborne Dorsey. Dorsey, a Black man, invented the doorknob in 1878.
Let's discuss the invention that gave everyone with a home privacy. The invention of the doorknob. Think about it. At home, at work, in stores, we're always relying on doorknobs. Doorknobs are the unsung heroes of our safety, privacy, home protection, and personal space. We have Osborne Dorsey, who was born in 1862, to thank for that. In the 19th century, people used to rely on leather straps or latches to keep their doors shut. Neither method was secure or convenient. However, a 16-year-old genius had a solution. In 1878, at the very youthful age of 16, Osborne Dorsey received a patent from the U.S. Patent Office. His initial patent request was for a device he named the door-holding device. Dorsey's design included a knob-like shape, described in his patent as a case or cap which could be easily attached to doors with screws, which is the foundation of the modern doorknob as we see today. It took time for people to embrace this new invention, but once they did, the doorknob became a game changer. Fast forward more than 100 years, and Dorsey's idea has evolved into an essential part of daily life. Modern doorknobs now feature advanced designs, from sleek, minimalist styles to smart locks with keyless entry, which has evolved his invention, blending security and technology. These innovations build on Dorsey's original concept, proving how one brilliant idea can shape the way we live and interact with our spaces. So anytime you step outside into the world with racism as your personality, don't forget that the device that you touch to exit your home was crafted by the very people you hate. There's not a city, a reservation, or home that Dorsey's invention hasn't touched. The peace and the security that was robbed from Black Americans didn't stop them from inventing safety and security for others. All right, racists, let's wrap things up. We have come to the conclusion that Black people have created just about everything, which factually makes them the original people. And I'm sure that the belief system in the social studies coded history has you assuming differently. But since some of you believed that the Black American inventions were only historic, let's dispel that ideology right now. Here is who is inventing in the modern times. Janet Emerson Bashan. She obtained the patent for Linkline, a web app that manages workplace discrimination claims. She is the first Black woman to patent a web-based platform. Mark Dean, the co-inventor of the IBM PC, the color monitor, and first gigahertz microprocessor. Every single desktop computer runs on his code. Dr. Hadiah Nicole Green, a physicist, invented laser-activated nanoparticles that target and kill cancer cells without chemo side effects. Cutting-edge medicine with precision. Bonnie Johnson, the Super Soaker creator, who's now building the JTEC heat-to-electricity converter for green energy. And last but definitely not least, Lanny Smoot, Disney Imagineer with 100+ patents, lightsabers, BB-8 systems, Holotile AR/VR. The future theme parks run on his tech. And some racists laugh and gawk at the idea of a shorter list. But that's just it. We could have an extensive modern list. If racist America would remove its allergy for peace, prosperity, and life, imagine how amazing our lives would be if we would just get out of the way and allow the natural creators to just thrive. Modern Black brilliance isn't waiting for permission. They're coding, cooling, giving, loving, nurturing, providing, struggling, hurting, fighting, entertaining, healing, and innovating right now. Hell, you are still following the path that Black Americans lead to this day. Black American Indigenous names don't belong in the footnotes, especially when they are always the subject and the body of the work.
Top 5 Black inventors they tried to erase, and number 1 will absolutely shock you. Number 5, Frederick McKinley Jones. He invented refrigerated trucks. Walmart and Tyson made billions. His name erased. Number 4, Benjamin Bradley. A teenager enslaved in the Navy, he built a steam engine for warships, but by law, he couldn't patent it. White officers claimed it. Number 3, Ned. He created the cotton scraper, doubling farm output. His owner stole the idea, white farmers profited, and Ned was erased. Number 2, Granville T. Woods, the Black Edison. He invented railway telegraphs. Edison tried to steal his patents. Woods beat him in court. Twice. Number 1, Jan Ernst Matzeliger. He invented the shoe-lasting machine, making affordable shoes for all. The footwear industry exploded, his name buried. So why do we celebrate Ford and Edison but not Jones, Bradley, Ned, Woods, or Matzeliger? How much of America was built on stolen black genius? Comment, Black excellence, if you refuse to let their names stay hidden.
From today's topic, in this video we are going to be breaking down clearly, no hype, no exaggeration, and we are talking about the Black Americans' lineage, the real contributions to modern community, and why this conversation is getting louder right now. Because once you actually understand the full picture, it doesn't just change everything. It gives you a context that probably should have been there all along. Welcome back to the channel and consider subscribing to join our family. So to understand the contributions, you have to understand the history. Most Black Americans today are descendants of Africans brought to the United States through the transatlantic slave trade, but it's only a part of the story. So because of the slavery, families were separated, names were erased, and records were either incomplete or even never created at all. That means tracing lineage is often much harder than compared to other groups. So there is always another layer people don't always talk about openly. Many Black Americans have mixed ancestry, including the European lineage, often as a result of unequal and coercive relationships during the slavery. So when people talk about Black American identity, they are not talking about something simple or even one-dimensional. They are talking about a history shaped by resilience, disruption, adaptation, and survival. Now, let's get into the video.
If you're really committed to being a racist in this country, you can't unsee what I'm about to show you. You might want to start checking Amazons for blankets, because this gas furnace behind me, you don't get to have one of those either, because that was invented by a black woman named Alice Parker around 1920. She received a patent on it. Yeah, that's how we stay warm today.
I mean, if you love potato chips, they gotta go, because a man named George Crumb, a chef in New York, had sent French fries out with a meal and a customer complained. So what did Mr. Crumb do? He sliced potatoes so thin, fried them up, dumped a bunch of salt on them, and sent them out. And that is the American delight of potato chips. They gotta go.
Here in the bathroom, Lotta Newman patented the first hairbrush with synthetic bristles in 1898, and she's just the third Black American woman to ever receive a patent. Now, I know this isn't going to affect those skinheads very much.
In 1892, George Sampson of Dayton, Ohio, received patent number 476,416 for what is the forerunner of the modern dryer we use today. It's going to suck drying your clothes outside.
In the late 1880s, Samuel Scotron of Pennsylvania patented the curtain rod. Woo, let's go piss off some white girls. It's going to be really hard to plan racist rallies without a color monitor. Invented by Mark Dean, an engineer at IBM, he is also on 3 of the original 9 patents of the IBM PC that came out in 1981. Did you know in 1897, Albert Crowell in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, developed the mechanized ice cream scoop? You know, the click, click that separates the ice cream from the spoon, changing the way ice cream is served. And if you're racist and an ice cream lover, it's going to get worse. I told you it's going to get worse. Augustus Jackson, the father of ice cream, pioneered many of the methods we have today to enjoy ice cream, including the way we salt it. Another thing about being a racist, you're going to have to give up the freezer and frozen foods, because Frederick McKinley Jones of Ohio, who was orphaned at 9 years old with a 6th grade education, a young biracial boy, grew up to invent Thermo King, which is the reason why we have frozen foods that are shipped and stored in stores and our homes. You got to give up ice cream and frozen pieces? Do you see that little doohickey on the wall right there, that little white thing? That's called your thermostat. That's how you control your AC. That was invented by David Crossway, who got his engineering degree right here in Indiana at Purdue University. He's so cold, he designed the heating system for Radio City Music Hall and Rockefeller Center. Sorry, racists, no AC this summer. This is really going to mess your shit up. The porcelain toilet as we know it was designed by Thomas Elkins in 1872. Hey, come here. How many races does it take to change a light bulb? None. They don't want to be enlightened. Which is too bad, because the carbon filament in the light bulb that we've grown up and used, you know, that lights up really bright, was invented by Lewis Latimer, who's one of the chief engineers for Thomas Edison, and he helped design the telephone with Alexander Graham Bell. I mean, you can't even do something as simple as open the door, because that door handle was patented in 1878 by Osborne Dorsey. Yeah, sorry guys. I mean, I guess you probably were raised in a barn. And if you think you want to call all your buddies to come meet you at the laundromat so you can wash your white sheets together, because let's face it, if you're still a racist, you don't have a dryer, you don't have a gas furnace heater, you don't have a thermostat to control your AC, you can't open your doors without a doorknob, and you especially cannot call your buddies without the cell phone. You're going to have to get rid of these, like I said, because Henry Sampson, a black genius inventor, patented and invented the gamma ray process, which uses radio waves to transmit and receive audio signals, which is what makes cell phones able to communicate with each other, and changed all our lives significantly. If you're still on that racist trip, I got some bad news for you. Your Nectar of the Gods Hidden Valley Ranch dressing was created by a black Nebraska cowboy named Steve Henson. And what many people might not know is he was a plumbing contractor in Alaska and made his fortune up there. And he created the dry powder ranch seasoning and gave it out to his employees, and they loved it. And when he retired and bought Hidden Valley Ranch in California, hence the name Hidden Valley Ranch, he started to sell it. Now, he ended up selling it to Clorox Bleach, which they still own, which is a little weird when you think about it. The perfect white condiment sold to a company that makes a chemical that makes everything white. What did Mr. Henson know that he's not telling us? I almost feel sorry for you a little bit on this one. See that television behind me? There's a black badass American named Otis Boykin who developed a wire precision resistor for these TVs, which helped control the flow of electricity. More importantly, 2 years later, he improved upon this in 1961, making versions that could withstand extreme changes in pressure and temperature. Now, why is this important? Because TVs that work in Denver, Colorado would not work correctly in Little Rock, Arkansas. That being a very humid, hot state, Colorado being very dry, and then different air pressure up there. This greatly reduced the cost of TVs because you could mass produce them and sell them in Texas and Alaska, the same model. But wait, there's more. This man also developed the control unit for the pacemaker, which exists in over 1 million people today. So if you're racist, you probably know somebody's life who was saved by Otis Boykin. And the TV you watch? Otis Boykin. And he also helped design guided missile systems for the military. Yeah, told you he's a badass. Oh, you're not going to like this. Not the lawnmower. Yep. Now, while Albert Burr did not invent the lawnmower, he did patent the mechanical lawnmowers you see pictured above, which has design elements that are used to today's mowers, as well as his original mechanical design is making a huge comeback with people being really conscious about climate change. I guess some people will be hiring a lawn service now. Can't be using a lawnmower improved upon by a black man. This one's going to sting. The ultimate white powder, sugar. Norbert Ryu, a black Creole Cajun man from Louisiana, was obsessed with steam engines and was a widely regarded expert in them. He developed an evaporator process that has revolutionized the entire sugar industry, and some of his principles are still used today. Gotta go. So after all this, if you are still down with this racist gig, a lot of your shit's gotta go. I mean, you're gonna have a huge garage sale. And I just have one thing to say to all the stuff you gotta get rid of.
All right.
So this conversation really focuses on contributions because this is where things gets interesting and where a lot of people realize just how much has been overlooked. Take Aris Pakal, for example. Her work on early gas heating systems helped influence how homes are heated today. Or even John Cram, often associated with the invention of potato chips. Something so common now, and it's hard to imagine it ever being invented. Then you have McDean, a key engineer behind the development of the personal computer at IBM. And his work helped shape the way the modern computer function. And Otis Boykin, whose electronic components are used in devices like pacemakers and televisions, like technology that literally saves lives. There is also John Ernest, who revolutionized the shoe industry with a machine that made production faster and more accessible. Oh, here is the important nuance. Not every invention can be credited to one single person. Innovation is often a process. People build on each other's work. But that doesn't change the bigger point. Black Americans have played a major role in shaping everyday life, even if those contributions were not always widely recognized. So the question is, why don't more people know this? Part of it comes down to how history has been taught. For a long time, contributions from Black Americans were either minimally covered, simplified, or left out entirely in mainstream education. That doesn't mean there was some single coordinated effort to hide everything, but it does mean that over time, certain narratives were prioritized and others were not. And when that happens, entire generations grow up without seeing the full picture. Now, let's address the part of a conversation that these individuals emphasize. The idea that people are finally speaking honestly. What is really happening is this. More people today have access to information, archives, and even DNA tools than ever before. So conversations about history are becoming more open, more detailed, and more widely shared. So more people are engaging with it now. So at the end of the day, this isn't about rewriting history. It's about completing it. Understanding Black American lineage and contribution doesn't take anything away from anyone else. It just adds depth to the story we all live in. And honestly, that is not something new. It's something that has been there the whole time, waiting to be understood. So thank you so much guys for watching, and if you found this information helpful, drop a comment with something you learned or something you think more people should know, because conversations like these only grow when people actually take the time to have them. Consider joining our family by hitting the subscribe button Kindly give your views in the comment section and kindly remember to keep it respectful. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.